All right, guys. So, welcome to our weekly health coach training. One of the fun things today, I'm joining you from my mobile office in Las Vegas, actually, and I'm out here. One of the nice things that I was, and I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but one of the privileges that we have with what we do is with health coaching is we have the option or the opportunities to do some pretty neat things with our lives, and we get to explore things and have fun and travel and do things that are active. And so that's what I've been doing today. And we'll talk a little bit more about an epiphany that I had earlier today. But I want to welcome everybody who's joining. Some of the coaches that are joining for the first time, welcome for you. And look at that. Even have there we go. Now you can maybe see me. Um, we're going to celebrate some new coaches. We've got some people that have joined our team, which is pretty fun. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about some people that have um, uh, made some progress in their business this month. We'll go over a little bit of that, and then we're going to also answer any questions, or if I miss anything that you guys that I didn't get, or like somebody signed on a new client, you're really excited about that, or if I missed somebody that came on that was new, let me know. So we're going to start off here, and we're going to go through a little Jumpstart, and then we will turn it over to the rest of you. So let's figure this out. We're going to go desktop 1, share, and then we're going to go play. All right, does everybody see? Actually, everybody's on mute, so you probably can't tell me, but if somebody would come off and tell me, do you see Jumpstart March 2019?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, perfect. All right. So this is
Yeah.
okay. You see it perfect. So Jumpstart, basically, what we do with Jumpstart is each month we want to jumpstart our month. So we do Jumpstarts on the first Monday of each month. And what it is, it's a monthly celebration of what happened in the previous month. So we celebrate new people that come on. We celebrate new rank advancements. We celebrate, important things that we track as health coaches. And then the second thing we want to do is hopefully we'll be able to propel us into having a successful next month. And one of the things that I've seen happen a lot, and we'll talk about this. Actually, I'm going to stop the share for a second here. One of the things that I've seen happen is we do some comparative reality. And so we hear about somebody doing a great job with their coaching, and they're helping a lot of people. And some other people say, what are they doing that I'm not doing? I'm horrible. Has anybody ever said that? Like, just that comparison game, right? Exactly it. And so what we want to do is have an idea or a conversation about that the um, well, from the Christian worldview, you want to compare yourself only to Jesus, right? That's the big picture. From the worldview, you want to compare yourself to an earlier version of you only, right? Because I don't have Carrie's background. I don't have her skill sets. I don't have her amazing hats. I don't have any of those things. And so, yep, see? And so if you think about those things, why would I compare myself to something you're doing? Why would I compare myself to Doug Wood, right? I need to compare myself with earlier version of me, and compare myself with who I want to become, and let that coach me along. So there's a little bit of comparative reality that can be a problem, and we have to, not all comparative reality is bad, only the bad kind, if that makes sense. So I like to compare myself to my best. I like to compare myself to an earlier version of me. And am I progressing? So we're going to celebrate some people and some things that are happening in some businesses. And here's my encouragement to all of you. If your business is not where you want it to be, First of all, do you know where you want it to be? And then, do you know, I know you probably know where I'm going with this. Do you know where you're currently at? Really clear on where you're currently at, what you're currently doing. And then you build a bridge from where you want to be, from where you are to where you want to be. It's structural tension. And the people that grow their businesses do that. The people that don't. And let that sink in for a minute. You have to envision the kind of person you want to be, the kind of business you want to be, the kind of health you want to do, the difference you want to make in the world. You have to have a picture of what that looks like. If you're going on vacation, you don't know where you're going. Well, you just go to the next door neighbor. I don't know where I was going. I'm on vacation. Here I am. But when you go on vacation, you have an idea of where you'd like to go. And then you have current reality. You're not on vacation. And then you figure out how to get there. It's the same thing for any big thing in your life. So you got it? Does that make sense, everybody? I think you can compare yourself all day long, but we want to compare ourselves to the right things. All right, so here we go. Actually, before I go any further, I'm curious. Does anybody have a comment about just that first piece? Are you challenged with that? Did you have a something you want to just vocalize here as we talk through that first comment about comparing? Go ahead and just come off mute. No?
I will.
Okay. Hi, Lynn Ann.
Hello.
By the way, you're comparing yourself, by the way, to a version of yourself you want to be, and you are growing.
I'm growing. Not as quickly as you want, but it's good that
yes.
I'm like, dang, it's not quick enough. And I hear Dan Valentine say that. Like, he gets upset when he doesn't. I'm like, what? But anyway.
You get upset when you don't grow enough, but you don't just get upset. You get upset and you go do something.
And you do, and you act. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're gonna celebrate you because you've been taking some very deliberate actions in February that we're gonna talk about, because Lynn Ann, you're a champion. Seriously. You're doing a great job.
You. But all of this, the comparative reality, and Martin, I love you, Martin. He talks to me about it all the time, and he sees things so clearly, and he calls me on stuff, and I'm like, wow, you have to grow as an individual. I mean, there you have it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, if you're down on yourself and your self-image is not what it needs to be, then, you get with people that are going to help you fashion that, and you discipline your mind, and you get to where you need to be, and you keep growing and keep continuing. So therein lies the growth and the learning, and it's just part of the thing.
Yep.
I don't know if I added. I don't know what I just. Anyway, there it is.
Yep. No, I get it. It's everything you're saying is exactly right. Awesome. Thank you. We're going to come back to you here in a minute. Let's go ahead and celebrate some new folks, talk about some ranks, and then we'll get back to it here. I'm going to share my screen. Thank you, Lynn Ann, for talking about that. All right. So Jumpstart. There we go. So a couple little things here. We just want to talk a little bit about here's what it looks like to grow, right? These are different milestones in your business that you want to think about, because these mean something. And when you first start out as a coach, you haven't helped anybody, but you've paid $200. So you're enough to be a coach. Great. Hopefully you've become a coach because you want to help people. That makes good sense, right? And then your mentor coach will come alongside you, and they will help you with your first 5 clients. So we help you to get to that senior coach level. And our goal as a mentor coach is to actually transfer the skills to help hundreds, thousands, 5, 10, 15, however many your heart can hold. We want to teach you how to help all of those people roughly within those first 5. So that's the big point where we're doing everything right alongside you. and I know Patty, and I know Shannon. We're doing that together. Many of you, we've done that. And so to get to senior coach, we actually coach all of your clients 100% in the beginning, and then we slowly start to transfer the percentage over as you start to become proficient, all right? And so 5 clients with a minimum of $1,200 in frontline volume is a senior coach. You'll probably, with 5 clients, if you add it up, 5 clients times about 350, it's about 1,700 in volume. So you'll be way over the frontline volume goal, and 5 total orders. You have to have 5 different people, 5 what we call ordering entities. Well, now usually if you're at 1,700 in frontline volume, you may not realize this, but it's pretty easy. It's pretty simple to go from senior coach to manager, because if you're at 1,700 in frontline volume, manager is another 1,200. So 1,200 to 2,400. But if you're at 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, it's $500, $600, $700 in volume. Each client is about 350. So that's only about 3 more clients and you hit manager. You ever thought about that? It's not a whole 5 new people. And so now you're at 2,400, you're a manager. If you have a senior coach on your team though, now you'd be an associate director, because you get a 1 point for a senior coach, and then 1 point for every 1,200. So if you're 2,400 with a senior coach, that moves you to associate director. This is called the blended path. And by the way, I just want to encourage you guys, it's way more enjoyable to help people get healthy and to help people get healthy. Right? Just going out and helping 20 people get healthy is one thing. But if you helped 10 people and then you partnered with 2 out of those 10 and helped them become senior coach, well, now you're a director. Right? So that's how we get to what we call blended executive director. All right. So you get all the way up to 5 points. 5 points, you could have 4,800 in frontline volume and 1 senior coach, and you're an ED. So you guys understand kind of how that works. That's the blended ED path, where we go with frontline volume with clients, and then we go with senior coaches. Got it? All right. So here are some new coaches that have joined our team. So Patty, or Patricia, I went to high school with Patty, so that's pretty cool. She came on as a client. We're going to talk to her a little bit. Shannon Van Horn as well came on board. What was really interesting about Shannon is that Shannon was not frontline to me, right? Shannon was brought on by her cousin, and then her cousin had a life circumstance that happened, and he couldn't coach anymore. And so I just came around and said, Shannon, let's do this, right? And she was only a client at the time, and now she's become a coach. And then Martin has a guy, his name's Kassar, and he's been working with him for a while. He owns a club, a sports club. But I just wanted to come out for a minute and just talk with Patty, and then we'll talk with Shannon. So let me stop the screen share here. And then, so Patty, I'm curious just a little bit about, what's going on with you in health coaching. What are you excited about? I know you're working with some clients. We're doing some other on day 2 actually today, I think. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you're enjoying about coaching so far.
I really like it. The 3 of them, because of weather around where I live in Springfield, they were kind of delayed their shipment, so they all received them the same day. It worked excellent to be able to just coach them all 3 at the same time. So I'm really loving it. These ladies really mean a lot to me. I was blessed to have my daughter and 2 of my really close friends. So, and then Craig, you're awesome helping me.
That was
so
fun.
It's like, I can do this, or yeah. I know I can do this.
Yeah. Patty said to me recently, she goes, "Oh, and I'm going to set up some more health assessments because I have more people I want to help. And so is that okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Let's help as many as you want." Patty's got a big heart and wants to help a lot of people. And so this is really, really fun working with her. Yeah. And that's one thing we talked about, or a little idea there, is that Patty had a number of people that started, and we kind of all sequestered them to kind of the same time. So they all started on Sunday. And so we said, well, why don't we build community and start them all together? And so what we did is we're doing our daily Zoom together. And so they're all learning from each other. And so you may think about that. If you start 2 or 3 people together, to get them involved in the day 1 through 5 calls and have them all get to know each other, even if they don't. In Patty's case, I think a lot of them did know each other. So, so that's been really fun.
2 of them don't know each other, but I'm excited for them to, meet in person and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome.
And I just got a text from one of my best friends from high school. She wants to talk to us, Craig.
Oh,
just literally
great.
now. I'm like,
so
awesome.
That's so great. So that's awesome. Thank you, Patty. It is a treat working with people. It's so fun when you find somebody that wants to coach, because it's really obvious. They want to help people. They want to coach. And so I'm not pressuring or trying to convince Patty that she should do anything with coaching. Quite frankly, Patty's like, I want to coach. Help me. And I'm like, great. Yeah, let's do this. It's exciting. So thank you, Patty, for just for who you are as a person, and that you get to bless what we're doing and we get to work together. I'm really excited. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. All right, Shannon, let's bring you on here and tell me a little bit about what what's going on with you. You've got 2 people that have enrolled, and tell me what you're learning through the process. You're going to have to come off of mute. Are you there, Shannon?
There we go. Sorry about that.
Perfect. I'm like, where is she? Don't leave me hanging. Yeah. So let's just kind of update people a little bit about where with your coaching. And I know you and I have had some breakthroughs with some coaching, and just showing the value of what we all do, or what we have an opportunity and what we have in our hands. So tell me a little what you're enjoying about coaching and what you're learning.
I love just helping people as well, but I have always been a coach. I coach volleyball, and I love encouraging people, and with this journey, it's a little more emotional, and you get to walk with people and kind of guide them along, and I really like that.
Yeah. And what are you noticing anything new or exciting? Because I know you and I had a coaching piece yesterday, just some of the benefits that you're receiving from coaching.
I've noticed, that it's still very important to work my own process, and by doing that, it does set an example for other people. And I was struggling, and you helped me through that. And I think it's also important for people to see that just because we're coaches, we're not perfect, and that this is what we do. We help each other through this, and that's what we are there to do for you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. It was enjoyable. I mean, the thing I loved about that conversation, you said, I'm really struggling, and I said, oh man, I can't wait to talk, because if you're really struggling, when you're doing well, it's when you're doing things you know what to do. When you're struggling is when you've gotten to the edge of your knowledge base. And when we started working together, you told me you wanted to lose your weight and you didn't want to gain it back. And I took you seriously. I just want you to know that. And so, and not only not gain your weight back, but you wanted a bunch of good stuff. And so then as we're working together, when you got to the edge of you were struggling now, and I was like, well, let's figure out why you're struggling and build and add that tool, right? And so that was a really enjoyable time. I loved actually working through that with you, and that's what we get to do. It's an opt-to-be is an opt-in. It's like, raise my hand, yeah, I want some of that. Nobody has to coach, and we get to coach. So, by the way, thank you for being so teachable. Not everybody is. Yeah, it's so good. So that's so good. All right. Well, thank you guys. And let me go through. I got one more slide here, just the, we call it the 8K Club. So let me share that slide here. We've got a few people that are in the 8K Club. And so Carrie Armstrong and then Daniela Carulli are in the 8 to 10,000 club. And I was running my reports kind of at the last minute, and so I may have missed somebody. If I did miss you, I'm sorry. But what the 8K Club is, when you run 6,000 in frontline volume, that's one of the metrics that we have in our business. And that means you're an executive director by volume. Normally, you'll have a few coaches that are developing. And as they become senior coach, you build into what we call FIBC. And so when you're running above 6,000 in frontline volume, you've got some buffer there. So when you moved up to 8,000, you're probably coaching 25 people, maybe 30, 28, 30 people. And then some people move it up to 10,000 in frontline volume. And so now you're coaching, 35, maybe up to 40 people. And so you've got a nice buffer. You've got plenty of people that you're helping. It's a lot of fun, by the way. And you got a good group of people that you can, that can become awakened to the idea of helping other people. And so that's why that 8,000 is a metric and that 10,000 is a metric. So at this point, I wanted to toss it over to Lynn, because Lynn, you, me, and Martin got together at the beginning of the month, and we talked about some stuff that we wanted to do in February. And there were some very specific things that you were doing that needed to change in order for you to get somewhere new. You can tell us just a little bit about that, and then kind of what's different, because you're doing different things. What are you getting that's different?
Oh, geez. Okay, put on the spot. Really, oh my gosh, just taking action in a way that actually works. Like, I spent so much time thinking that I'm actually working and I'm not working, and trying to work from home, and I'm here with my mom, and it's so distracting, and I end up like wiping off the baseboards and other, how would I put it, creative avoidance. Yes. So you guys challenged me to get out of the house, go somewhere else to go to work, which I did, and starting to do the 3-3-3 for real. I mean, I'm weakest in the actual follow-up area, but I was amazed. I'm like, what? It works. Somebody I used to work with, hey, could you please tell me more about that? And somebody from high school, I'm not going to tell you guys the year, but she contacted me in a private message. She's like, Lynn, I've been looking at these stories that you've been sharing, and I really need to hear more about that. Can you explain it? And she just finished her first week. I have 2 other people on deck. One person fell away. I remember Cassina saying, people stay, people go, and you just have to roll with it. 2 sisters that were like, we're in, we want to do it. And then they ghosted me for 5 days. Mm-hmm. But you know what? Here's the thing. Even 6 months ago, I would have been bawling my eyes out over that. And I've changed and grown enough to go, meh, it happens. Mm-hmm. I'll just let them rest a little bit. I'll keep posting stuff. And I know they're going to come back around, because they're not happy with themselves, mm-hmm, in their minds and in their bodies. And I'm big enough to handle that. And I'm just going to go find more people.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I loved about this whole thing, is doing what you were doing. We had to break it up. And so we had to get you out of the environment.
Am I frozen?
I might be frozen. But we had to get you out of your environment. Can you guys still hear me? Oh. Can you guys hear me? Okay,
Craig,
there we go.
You're frozen on my end.
Yep.
I don't know.
Well, I can hear you now. I just paused my video. If that helps.
It's Craig. It's Craig.
Oh, it's Craig. Okay, good.
Yeah, I think I'm back on. I paused my video so you could hear me, but the whole point of what we were doing was getting you out of what you were doing. We had to change the recipe, and for you, it was let's move you to a Starbucks or a coffee place and let's have you work there. And so significant things happened. You just took that simple action, and now you've hit senior coach. You hit senior coach again 2 months in a row. Now we're working towards manager. And man, girl, you're like growing it. Way to go. That's right. Boom, boom, boom. So if you want what she has, you got to do what she does. You got to switch up the routine. And so I'm proud of you, Lynn Ann. It's really fun working with you and seeing.
Hey, Craig, can I come in too for a second just to add on to what Lynn Ann said, because I think I'm kind of like her in the way that I fell aside about a year or two ago. I had like a bunch of clients, and they just fell off like they always do. And of course I took it personally, and I really was not consistently doing my 3x3x3. And what really has helped me, and I mean, I could do it on my own, but it really helps is you guys try to get onto the power hour. They've changed their hours to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But if you can get in at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, it's a great chance to spend that whole hour wholeheartedly doing your 3x3x3.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Eileen. Yeah, if you have a hard time with structure, and usually when you're beginning this type of a career, the structure is up to you. There's nobody here that's going to be your boss. I'm not going to be your boss, but I'll help you with time management skills so you can learn to be your own boss. And one of the things Becca Tinter said is if you give yourself an assignment and then when it comes time to do it, you don't do it, well, then fire yourself, right? Fire that version of you that didn't do the work, and then rehire yourself, upgrade, become back as a better employee. Because when you put something on your calendar, you're the CEO of your business. When it comes time to do it, you're the employee. And if employees don't work, they get fired. So maybe you need to fire yourself. And then come back around and rehire yourself, do some upgrades, work on yourself, and start watching. Do I follow through on the things that I say I'm going to do? Because when I say I'm going to do it, it's important, or I wouldn't have said it. So and I'm speaking to myself in that too. Everybody can get better in that personal management. So, all right. So those were the main things I wanted to talk about today. I'm super excited to celebrate with you guys. Actually, we cranked through a whole half an hour in there. So Dawn, I don't know what we had. Did you have anything on your list? I think we kind of nailed it. What do you think?
I think we did kind of nail it. I think we did talk about in the future, later this month, we want to talk about events and why we have them. Mm-hmm. But that'd be a great topic for next week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Patty just told me, I love to have people over to my house. Let's do one of those healthy things that you do. And I'm like, absolutely. And then Casina's had, I think, 2 of them now. Dawn, you've been doing, Carrie, mm-hmm. The whole Spokane contingent's doing them a lot. And so if you've never done an event, you can start by your first one. And so we're going to be going over that a little bit next week about how to have an event. And you know what? I don't know. Does anybody want to take a guess at what the very, very first step is to have a healthy happy hour?
Invite.
Actually, that's the second thing.
Put it on your calendar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you have any party, you don't start with, well, I'll have a party when a bunch of people say they want to show up at my house.
Yeah.
You never say that. But in health coach world, I'm like, well, I'll have an event when I have a bunch of people that want to come over. Isn't that stupid? I'm like, no, you put it on the calendar and then you start finding people, inviting people, pulling them in, and it happens. I'm telling you what. So pick a date, give yourself at least 2 weeks notice. You got to give a little bit of time, and then you have your first one, and then the next one. Put it out there maybe 4 weeks. And man, they're a lot of fun. So we're going to be talking about that a little as we move forward. So, and we're going to be working with Patty, getting her set up too. So
I think Craig is frozen.
Yep.
Yeah.
it doesn't
I think
surprise.
you're frozen again, Craig.
Well, we're gonna go ahead and cut it off now, if you guys can hear me, and we will talk to you guys
He's
next.
frozen with a smile.
That's good. All right, I think I'm back now. We're gonna go ahead and button her up for the night, and we will see you guys all next week. All right?
Okay.
Okay, guys. Good to see you all. Take care. Have a good night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.